Hello and welcome to episode 215 of Masters of the Forge. I'm here with Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Adam. Hi, everyone.
And later we'll be joined by Kendrick, which is nice to have him help us out this week.
Especially since my semester's a disaster.
Oh, great. Good to know. Good to know.
You'll see that as a thread that continues through the entire intro and probably an outro. Right.
Okay, well, great. Let's start with mine then. I was able to finish the Labor Day challenge 2 days late, but that's okay.
All right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I was able to get them done. I kind of did a little bit during lunches, working from home.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit during meetings. A little bit, maybe.
I would. I have.
Yeah, right. Some of these meetings were brutal. I'm actually doing interviews and stuff too with my boss, and it's just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the folks are like temporary people from contracting firms.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is sometimes like the contracting firm will pad the resume to look like they have experience that they don't.
Oh.
And sometimes the contracting firms will send resumes for people that don't even know that they're getting an interview.
Oh.
One time, my buddy who works, I'm not going to name names or anything. One time, a buddy of mine had his own resume sent to him for consideration. So that's the kind of situation we're dealing with here.
That's amazing. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's not bury the lead on this. I realized I was actually in stunned silence thinking, did I hear that right? Like I was actually going back over what you said and it's like, no, that can't be what they did. But okay, of course.
He was hiring temp help and he had his own resume sent to him for consideration.
Well, did he give himself consideration, or did he say, that guy's horrible?
I mean, with the way the rules are, I was like, so I thought I had to think to ask because like you have to interview everybody. Yeah. So did you actually have to interview yourself? No, I think he can decline. So I think he declined.
Oh, he declined to interview himself. Wow,
yeah.
That's, I don't even know what to say about that.
It's pretty great. So yeah, I finished that up. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm really happy with the Gretchen. The Gretchen are amazing. The 10 more Beast Snagaboys I'm happy to have because I did recently. I added them to my Crusade roster for my games with Kendrick, and I'm glad to have the extra 10 models. And I also, I'm lukewarm on the Killicans. I think they could be a little better, but I'm at a point where I'm like, I really don't feel like lining, because a lot of the time with the vehicles, I'll take Doombull Brown and I'll kind of recess shade with thin down Doombull Brown to make it look like rust is inside the cracks and stuff.
Yeah.
So I could probably do a little bit more of that, and I might at some point. Same thing with the Defcopters. Defcopters are pretty cool. But they do look a little rushed, but it's fine. It's all very, very fine. So I also picked up my Cities of Sigmar starter box.
Ooh.
The rest of the range isn't available yet. This is kind of a whatever special edition. It comes with the army book, has a bookmark attached to the fabric bookmark, and it's got gold leaf edges and everything. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I like when they do stuff like that. I mean, it's like little frilly stuff, but sometimes that just kind of makes your heart happy.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's pretty good, and I did also buy a new skull pack from Zombie Planet.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just about out of skulls again, and this is the third one.
Wow, that's a Misfits tune.
Yeah, this is the third. Ha! This is the third. This is the third pack of skulls I've bought. It was $30, whatever. Games Workshop. I love it. Wow,
I have not finished my first one yet.
Yeah, well, it's the Cities of Nagash project. It's just all skulls all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I probably should find where I know I have that box. I just don't know.
Yeah,
where it is, but that'd be probably something good to add to various things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also listened to the Dawn of Fire Iron Kingdom book, and it was pretty incredible.
Okay.
I am impressed with the way the actors are an Imperial Knight household.
Okay.
A group of Traitor Knights. Chaos Space Marines, I think Word Bearers, if I remember correctly. I just don't care. Black Templars, Astra Militarum, but like the Astra Militarum port, like the Imperial Weirdos portion is actually a Imperial like bean counter. She's Administratum tithe collector.
Right.
And I thought that was a really neat aspect, like a neat perspective. And Imperial Navy as well. So it was a really fun book that showed the grandeur and the political wrangling that happens with knight households, and when the Imperium decides you belong to us now, after the knight households have been trapped by the Cicatrix Maledictum for ages and somehow survive.
Yeah.
And someone
I'm sure
comes and says, by the way, you still belong to us. And they're like, do we though? So yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah. That sounds pretty cool. I have not read The Dawn of Fire. I think it's a series, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So what I wanted to, I also wanted to mention, oh no, that'll be my, I'll be talking about that in my Astropathic communique.
Okay. My hobby progress, not a ton. My semester started literally 2 weeks ago. In the first, month
did it though?
Always...
Didn't it start basically immediately after the last one ended?
Well, if we're wanting to split hairs, my semester started in August of 2016. And yeah, well, you've been there with me whenever we were driving through, backwoods New York, and I'm getting phone calls from my boss saying, everything's exploding. Where are you?
Yeah, I mean, aren't you a lazy teacher who gets summers off?
I at this point, I'd love to get a weekend off. But the first 2 weeks of every semester are always, yeah. I did get pronouncing this guy's name's going to kill me. Mibalor Darkfang, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, the Warhammer Plus model for year 2. So
okay, you got yours?
Yeah, I just ordered it a couple of days ago.
I went on and it said that I had ordered it in 2022. So it's possible that it was delivered to Warhammer Clifton Park ages ago.
Oh no.
And that means I have to go there, and I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that my stuff gets automatically sent there. I would rather pay money to have it sent to my house than me have to go there again.
I wonder why it's sending it there automatically. That's just odd.
Oh no, and it wasn't Milbalor. It was Azrak the Annihil. No, Milibor, the sorcerer. Yeah, that's the one I ordered.
Okay. Yeah, I ordered this. I mean, I wasn't eligible to even get the model until the 1st, I believe.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Great news. Your order is on the way. November 29th, 2022. So...
Wow, because I wasn't eligible to even order it until literally last week. So, okay, cool. So, anyway, I've got this guy. He looks cool. I think he's kind of one piece, or at least maybe 2 or 3 pieces. And so I don't know that I'm going to be able to do a lot of modification to him.
Okay.
Looks like it might be 4 pieces, but still. So I might just actually make him, build him as what he is instead of trying to convert and kit bash him. Because, I mean, it's... What? I'm not going to play whatever he belongs to in 40 in Age of Sigmar, so it'll be just a fun guy to... Maybe a cultist for the future or something, I don't know.
Yeah, like a human cultist of some kind that can... Yeah,
like...
We can give him rules.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. He looks cool, though.
Attach him to some... either to Zangors or to some cultists. Or I would love to come up with rules for him. That would be fun.
Yeah, because he's an awesome little model. It's just like, wow, man, this, there's a lot of detail just looking at the gray sprue. So anyway, yeah, that's my hobby progress. Will there be more this next week? Because in 4 days, I am flying to New York.
Woo!
To hang out with you and Mike and Skip and all of our other buddies, hopefully. I'm going to get some games in. Oh, hold on. I do have something for hobby progress. Yeah. So we had the new points balance release for the Thousand Suns. And I think I got taxed like 90 extra points, which is no big deal. I mean, that happens. From what I understand, the meta list got hit like either with 250 or 300 points. And I was like, yep, welcome to meta list, guys. Like I knew that I was, trying to go with a more, demon heavy, whatever. Which was hard to kind of go demon heavy. I probably would want to do more. But anyway, I'm still taking the same list. I'll drop something for 90 points. I think that's literally a rubric squad, which is fine. I don't need it. Hi, Quinn.
Oh, you're back. Oh, good. I was hoping that you would be able to join us for this episode. Where did you go? What, did you get a car? Were you a good kid? You can open it? What kind of car is it? Can I see?
It's time to orcify that.
It to me? Let me see. This is a Audi e-tron. Whoa! What color is it? Brown. Incorrect. Brown is not that color. What color is it? That is incorrect. That is not a blue car. What color is it? Black. It is not black. What is the color of the car? White. It is not white either. We have this game that we play. It's called Quiz Show. Yeah. The problem is he likes it when he gets the question wrong more than he likes it when he gets it right.
Oh.
So he intentionally says the wrong answer so that I do the buzzer and the robot voice. What color is it, buddy? Blue. It is not blue. Can I record? Can I finish recording with Mr. Jason? Can I join you in a little bit?
I think it's time to teach someone how to play Gaslands.
Do you want to play Gaslands, Quinn? You want to learn how to play Gaslands? You drive your car around and shoot missiles from your car?
Pew pew.
You want some help with that? I got it. Okay. All right, can you go out in the living room and close the door behind you, please? Thank you. Anyways.
Man, we really should learn how to play Gaslands just because. I mean, I think that'd be a really fun rule set. I think you can get the Gaslands rule set online for fairly cheap. I remember it being really cheap in the past. So
it's probably $0.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Or at one point, I think it was like $10. It was something that was ridiculously cheap.
What does Apple start with?
B.
Is he
C.
doing the robot voice?
A. Hey, Quinn, what does car start with? B. Incorrect. Car does not start with B. What letter does car start with? D. Car does not start with D. What color or what letter does car start with?
Vacuum cleaner.
What?
Quinn can count to potato.
Hey, man, you know.
What does car start?
That works. Now I'm looking up Gaslands because I'm really curious about how much it costs. Let's see. And Gaslands looks like it is, $21 for an ebook. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I was saying that Gaslands is like $21 for an EPUB or PDF.
That's worth it for. Yeah. Everybody says it's super fun. So
yeah, I keep hearing that. I want to try it, but
I have a lot of cars here, and a lot of them are like just super kind of busted because he plays them a lot. Yeah. And worse, he leaves them in the bathtub with like 1 inch of standing water, which tends to slowly strip the cars. Actually,
well, it's easy then for you to come in with an airbrush and. Yeah. So that always works. All right. So are we ready to go?
Beyond. 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 Beyond the fringe is where we're going. There's Beyond the Fringe. So this past couple of weeks, I've been such a normie, and it's just been the worst. I hate it. I mean, like just doing daily everything, and it just takes up all of my time doing daily everything.
Yeah.
We did have the Scattercoke Fair, which is always just full. So, Labor Day weekend is, I think I get invited to 1D3 Labor Day parties every year, and I can go to 0 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But because our family it's a big deal. So yeah, I've been doing nothing really. But I did learn yesterday that when you're recording a podcast, you don't grab your microphone and talk with the microphone in your hand because it tends to make a bunch of noises while you're holding it. So no, thank you. That is something I won't do anymore.
Mic discipline.
Especially with the my SM58 with the switch, because my hand was on the switch. And it wasn't switching all the way, but it was like slightly toggling it. So there's still in my segments with Kendrick that you're going to be listening to coming up here. There will be a few spots where my voice wavers a bit.
Okay.
I got rid of the worst. Yeah, I got rid of the worst section. There's like one section where it was just, I was like, Kendrick, we got to go back. Because I saw my waveform go up in the middle of my talking and then dip down to almost nothing and then back up again. I'm like, that is not, I can't, that people will lose their minds listening to that. However, even though I did get rid of that and that's a minimum now, you can still hear like the sound of my hand on the microphone every once in a while. Like not touching the bulb, but like just touching the regular case of the plastic case of the microphone. It's not good. Like, I hope that you guys don't think it's too annoying. It wasn't too bad for me when I was listening back. It's just super frustrating. So the next time I do a recording outside of my office, I will make sure to have the booms or my mic stands for that because no thanks. We might record later this week in my backyard with the fire going. That'll be awesome, and I'll make sure to have the mic stands out there by the fire. I'm sure that won't be bad. Well,
I'll just run a I'll run a compressor that'll even out the volume dips.
Okay.
So
thanks.
I've got tricks.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It's what I do for every episode. Like I've got it's almost automated at this point.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's my Beyond the Fringe. And I guess the fact that we're doing this a bachelor party is the big Beyond the Fringe, right? That's really what we're doing.
Yeah.
And it'll be a nice reprieve from literally everything that's going on.
Well, I think that I think every bit of my hobby progress for the past couple of months has been for the bachelor party.
Yeah. And even though, organizing a big event is work and stuff, but it'll still be really nice to get together with everybody and have a nice time. And the place that we rented has a huge garage. We'll be able to put up at least 4 tables for 40K in there. And also, like, I don't know. I might set up a table up on the deck so you can play boarding actions and it's a great location. And
I should bring my boarding actions book then.
I'm looking forward to celebrating our friend, who is getting married. Okay, yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any interesting Beyond the Fringe besides?
Just my semester's a disaster. I did get a brand new microphone. I don't know if I mentioned that last time.
You did, yeah. Last time we talked about the sweet new microphone. Pretty great. But yeah, I think our big. I'm just looking forward to seeing you, dude.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going back and seeing y'all. Yeah. You know, I mean, seriously, it's been too long. So.
It's been so. We had my sister-in-law. Amy brought her boyfriend from Florida up to meet the family, and we're out apple picking, and it's 91 degrees apple picking, and he's like, "This is ridiculous. I thought I was escaping this."
Yeah.
So hopefully next weekend won't be like that.
Yeah, I'm. Well, I mean, it's been 100 plus every day for the past almost 3 months. I think it's gotten ridiculous. So,
well, we do have the hurricane coming and hitting the East Coast soon. Obviously, we're not going to be in as much danger as the folks on the coast who, thoughts and prayers and stuff. But like, it might affect us, and we may just be playing Warhammer the whole time. And oh well,
that's fine.
Right? Okay.
Oh, so they're going to make me do what I was already planning to do. Okay, just checking.
Exactly.
Just want to make sure.
The worst thing that's going to happen is we don't get to go on our hike. Oh well. The mountains aren't going anywhere. Yeah, that's one of the big things in the hiking community where a lot of people have these like the mountains are calling T-shirts and bumper stickers.
Yeah.
The mountains are not calling people. The mountains will always be there. Make safe choices.
Yeah.
So, Astropathic Communique. The one I picked was the Dawn of Fire roadmap that came out. We have 4 more books. Martyr's Tomb, and Sea of Souls. Mm-hmm. And the Sea of Souls, everybody is saying that the guy on the Sea of Souls looks like Eddie Murphy.
He does.
He kind of does, though, right?
Yeah.
And
not Pluto Nash Eddie Murphy, but
that Iron Kingdom book.
Oh, he's Chris Wright.
Was Nick Kime did the Iron Kingdom? Nick Kime.
Oh, okay.
That was really good. Yeah, Mark Collins for the Martyr's Tomb, Chris Wright for the Sea of Souls. And then we have 2 more after that for a total of 9 books, and they did say that they are going to end the series.
Okay.
Which is, I like when a series has an actual ending.
Yeah.
It's not. I still can't. I don't see a time or a day unless I'm 80 and still alive somehow where I read the Horus Heresy. Just putting that out there.
I'm going to put this out there. I have not read all of the Horus Heresy books. In fact, I think I got about 2 or 3 books into Siege of Terra and went, nope, not interested. But that's because I'm really not interested in Imperial Fists, or I'm not interested in Imperial Fists. There we go. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and you know what? There are other lots of other podcasts that you can listen to that cover all of that.
Yeah.
And,
Age of Darkness is one of them. So
I've heard that they are good.
Yeah, they're probably. I think they are my favorite Horus Heresy podcast. I've met those guys. They're a lot of fun. I took classes with Miles. He's great.
Nice.
Those guys, I met them at Adepticon 2 Adepticons ago.
Uh-huh.
And they're great. I mean, they're a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so Jason, do you have anything interesting that you were looking at for the Astropathic Communique?
Well, as you might have guessed, of course, it'd be the Horus Heresy stuff, because for whatever reason, I love the lore. I'm just not going to read all those books. So there's a new book called The Exemplary Battles, The Age of Darkness. And it's going to pull together a bunch of new rules for, let me see. 5 Exemplary Battles, updated missions for Age of Darkness and Zone Mortalis games, some mini campaigns, new rules for the Night Lords, Iron Warriors, World Eaters, Smurfs, and Salamanders. And there's one other new model that will be coming out in this book. It's the new Fulgrim Transfigured model that is for the Horus Heresy and not for 40K.
So here's funny. All right, let me tell you a funny story about what happened. So in our Discord, if you'd like to join our Discord, email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We were watching the reveals on that Wednesday after we recorded, or before we recorded. I don't know.
It was right after. It was right after.
Yeah. Okay. So Fulgrim shows up, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is the best model I have ever seen. I'm so excited. This model rules. and then the Horus Heresy logo came up, and I'm like quiet for a minute, and I said, this model's stupid. I hate this model. This is the worst.
I remember that. That was funny. I had a great laugh at that.
Yeah, Couchman seemed to appreciate it. So we have fun in the Discord. Please join, and we can hang out and paint and chat and talk about lore and talk about anime you cannot unsee.
Definitely. Oh, did I say that part out loud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We could talk about Bluey, but turns out Bluey is my entire personality right now, which is where I'm at.
I haven't really watched enough of those episodes. I don't know if I've even watched a full No, I have watched a full episode.
No, I've made you.
Yeah. It's fun.
Sometimes we're waiting for people to show up for movie night.
Yeah.
So I pop on an episode or 2 of Bluey just for funsies.
Or the Lower Decks.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, Lower Decks, which is starting new, and I'm going to be hanging out with my cousin Aaron tonight to watch more.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
So I just wanted to touch on a couple more things before we move on to the show.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge, Labor Day starter box challenge, I just wanted to give a couple more shout outs. I know we talked about it last time, but Tucker did a great job painting his house. Good job, Tucker.
1-to-1 modeling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couchman he's got a few things left to do, but he's really crushing it on that Imperial Knight. He said he was going to take a break, and he's like, no, I can't. I'm just going to keep going. And he is going, and it is looking real good. He's considering like what to do for heraldry. And I did mention that for mine, I did use some of the old Wood Elf and Elf decals. I'll tell you what, and we were just kind of not complaining. We were talking about how a lot of the current Age of Sigmar line doesn't really come with a lot of decals. However, I just got this Cities of Sigmar box, and it has a ton of decals in it that I am not going to use. I use all like freehand hourglasses and stuff, so I'm going to take some pictures of that and see if he wants those.
Yeah,
to use for his knight. Josh came back with his Terminators, and they look amazing. It's like 5 Terminators, Captain, and the 5 Flamer guys from the new starter box, and they look dope as HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah, I'm looking that up now.
Those were the posts that were posted after we recorded. So I just wanted to give some props there to those guys.
Yeah, Couch's stuff looks really great.
Yeah. And also for Hobby Progress, Adon did get my Imperial Knights that he bought.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they were not in good condition when they were.
Yeah.
I was devastated. He was devastated. I don't know what I packed the boxes. They were in the foam, the battle foam, which is terrible. The battle foam is way too tight. So what happened was like the bases were tightly hugging, or the foam was tightly hugging the bases and holding them in place. But when the shippers like threw the boxes or whatever, what happened was it was like you were holding the model by the legs and shaking them. So the tops almost all the models came off. The Acheron came apart. Not a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
But the Lancer was exploded. Like,
oh no,
so many pieces. I just sat down with him to like sort through the pieces and everything and see. And I think it's going to be okay. I think the reassembly is going to be fine.
Yeah.
He's going to get the 2-part epoxy out, and I'm going to work with him throughout the process because I want to make sure everything is fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Adon's a friend of the show, and he's
a nice man.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and there's I feel for him. When I saw those pictures, I didn't even know what to say. I just looked at the pictures and went, I can't even.
It's just awful. Yeah. But working through it together was really good because we saw okay, it's not like building them from scratch, because a lot of the difficulty with those Cerastus Knights is the fact that they have so many little pieces.
Yeah.
And all the toes and everything the legs are articulated, but all of the feet were still glued pretty securely to the base.
Okay, good.
And each of the legs was in one piece.
Yeah.
So the good thing is once you get the legs attached to the feet, everything else can come together.
Yeah.
Where when you're building it from scratch, it's hard to tell what angle everything needs to be at for each of these little pieces. Because it's super articulatable. You can put them in any, the resin Cerastus Knights, you can put them in almost literally any position you want.
Yeah.
Any pose you want, because they're in so many pieces. I'm not sure how articulated the plastic one is going to be. Probably not as much.
No.
But yeah, they're gorgeous models, and I'm really grateful that none of the murals, the shoulder pad murals, were damaged.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's the big thing. But honestly, the Lancer, when he opened it up, the body was on top of the base in its little hole, Then the base was underneath that. And when you lift up the base, all of the parts for the lower body are under the base. Like, I don't even know how that happened.
That means you're just bouncing around a bunch.
Yeah, that's what he said. And
Yeah.
I think if I had filled the boxes with packing peanuts instead of tissue paper, it would have been better, because what we think happened is the tissue paper got compressed to the point where it didn't do its job. I was worried that packing peanuts would break the model if it was packed too tightly.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
But I think, well, I mean, obviously all the little pieces got broken off anyways.
Yeah.
Like the banners and stuff. So it would have been better to have a bunch of banners broken off than the models just be destroyed.
So
that's my advice. If you're shipping Imperial Knights, just use packing peanuts, or any like delicate, like bipedal model like that. Just do the packing peanuts. And I do not buy the Games Workshop Night Foam ever, or not Games Workshop, Battle Foam Night Foam.
Yeah,
just don't do it. It's not worth it.
So you sent him you had the Styrics too, right? What is it? It's a Volkite cannon, and
Volkite Chevrail.
Yeah.
Styrics was in pretty good condition. Like it did almost everything came. The legs all came off all the feet for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The only big knight that survived completely intact was Maleficent. Of course, the Queen's Knight. Yeah, she was fine. He pulled her out of her case, and there she was giving the thumbs up. You know, she's got the thumbs up. And it's like that just makes so much sense.
Yeah, there's no surprise there.
No. I said to him, you know what I think? I think she might be in league with the ruinous powers. That's how she survived. He's like, no, I think she just she knows who to bribe in the Imperial Shipping Corps.
So, yeah, that's probably closer.
That's probably all right, so that's it.
Right.
Let's we'll be right back with Kendrick, and Kendrick and I we have three distinct segments. The first one, we're going to be talking about our Crusade armies up to this point. The second segment is going to be about the games we've played so far. And then the third segment is going to be Kendrick talking about the new models and the new rules for the Tyranids, and we also go off the rails a little bit in that third segment, and that's fine. And then we'll be back and close out the show. Greetings, mofos.
Are you out of George Dickel number 8, staring at a broken chess machine?
Well, don't want to spend the rest of the year tied to that couch?
Well, why don't you head on over to the 1 Hour a Night Facebook page and see what exciting stuff is going on there. It's a place to post all your daily progress in the hobby grind, as well as receive and give positive feedback. Also, there are usually a few interesting challenges going on.
That's right. All you have to do is search for 1 Hour a Night on Facebook. That's numeral 1 Hour a Night, all one word. Blood serum tests will be administered prior to approval.
Sett til helvete og kom dere vekk. Det ikke bikkje, det en slags ting. Den imiterer bikkje, men det ikke det. Kom dere vekk, idioter!
What he said. Welcome back. I have Kendrick with me now. Hi, Kendrick.
Hi, everybody.
You want to talk about Warhammer, Kendrick?
I guess, yeah. That's kind of why we're here, isn't it?
That's kind of, it's our thing. We talk about Warhammer. All right. Well, Kendrick and I have been playing a Crusade campaign with Tyranids and Orcs. I've been... Well, why don't we talk about the types of armies we're bringing and the type of campaign that we're running first. In general, this segment is going to talk about a lot of the new rules, like especially since we just got our first game with the new Tyranid Codex and some of the new Tyranid models. But in general, this is really just a kind of playing catch up on the campaign that we've been running. And we've been using the full Crusade, so I'm just going to sign into Administratum, which we just started using again here.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really nice because it really helps you just automate everything. You don't have to remember anything. It just tells you what to do, which I'm all for computers telling me what to do. I think that's fine. It's called the Battle for Bones, and we call it that because we are kind of at the... We're assaulting a hive world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of in the middle of a war, and most of the human population has been killed off at this point.
By this point where we are right now, absolutely.
Yeah, without question. Part of it's due to, a catastrophic spaceship crash. That's
when
fine.
you have a capital class ship land on your planet when it's not meant to be on planet side.
It's when it's not... we could call it landing.
You landed.
I did land, and you landed.
And I crashed in a hive.
You did crash, which is fine, because biomass is biomass.
Yeah.
So we're kind of fighting over the remains of the population. And my army is a Beast Naga army that is looking for choice cuts of Tyranid meats.
Mm-hmm.
And the warlord, so Beast Boss Bug Beta, he really enjoys Tyranid meats.
Mm-hmm.
It makes him very happy. He loves to devour it. But he likes it prepared properly. So he's got... In charge of this campaign is Big Chef Grubzog. And Big Chef Grubzog is a great chef. I'm running him as a pain boss. And so his whole thing is collecting Tyranid meats. So most of these games...
Kill monsters.
The kill monsters... What are they called? Agendas, yeah. Kill monsters agenda, and then whatever other agenda is focused on whatever mission we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about your army.
So mine, my primary focus was actually, to begin, it was working with the Leviathan box.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, my warlord is the Neurotyrant, which I believe we now named the Shroud, because currently it has...
It got a name, yeah.
Yeah. So what I've been doing is, depending on what my models do, they get additional... They actually get their name through that, because the way that you have to think about it is, technically none of the things have names, because I'm not fighting Imperials. So I have to think of something that an Orc would want to name it.
Uh-huh.
Which... some of them don't work, and some of them do. So we just figured this one would be called the Shroud, because he's currently at a ridiculous amount of experience. He's at 16 experience.
That's amazing.
Which I think is the highest in our campaign.
Could be. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, my Beast Naga boys, the big unit of 20, they have 15 experience. So, yes.
What about the Hog Riders? I know they're not really Hog, but the Squig Riders, because they
the Squig Riders. Yeah, the Hunter Rig has 9. That was like... That got ahead early, but yeah, the Beast Boss has 11, and Squig Hog Boys, they have 11. That's Rip Snarl's boys. They have 11.
Okay.
So yeah, they're the highest with 11, aside from the big unit
20
of
man
Beast Naga boys. Yeah.
Who in the first 3 games, they were something.
They certainly were something.
Every single time they were a problem that I had to figure out how I was going to deal with them. Right.
So actually, now that we're into it, let's talk about our lists currently. I'm up to 1,600.
I am as well.
In my roster. So I have the Beast Boss Bug Beta. And he has gotten all the way up to 11 experience in just 2 games. He's got Deadly Combatant, which gives him sustained hits 1. We've decided that for the purposes of this, that counts as sustained hits 2 in combat, because why not? Or we would have re-rolled it. But unfortunately, he does have a battle scar after the last game. He is disgraced. Because he was beaten. He got beat up by it was the Neurotyrant. He whiplashed him in the face. Yeah, that was not great. Pain Boss, which is Big Chef Grubzog. I actually rolled Born Hunter for him, which gives him a 9-inch scout move. And that means when he gets teamed up with my Ironbiter's Beast Snagaboys, the 20 model unit, they rolled Vanguard Espionage for one of their upgrades, and they also have a 9-inch scout move. So they don't get in the Hunter rig anymore. So the boss's tractor rig, that I've tried modifying the Sticka cannon twice, and it's just terrible. Strength 13. I don't know why. I mean, I probably should have re-rolled that strength bonus because it's already got anti-monster and anti-vehicle 4+.
Yeah, I mean, strength 12 is enough to make it so it pretty much doesn't care.
I mean,
infantry models.
Yeah, it just generally doesn't care about anything. It's
well,
a
it's
4+. It's got a 4+ to wound. That's a good point. No. It's a 2+. It's a 2+ to wound monsters and vehicles.
Oh,
so the strength literally has no meaning.
Yeah.
So, but it's damage 4. It's whatever. It's a cute model.
It actually hit and wounded.
It did last game. That was the first time it has ever hit and wounded anything.
And it helped it charge.
It did, yeah. It got the +2-inch to charge, which is really fun. I have another unit of Beast Snagaboys that go in the truck. They are Resolute Veterans. They have +1 Battle Shock, Leadership, and Desperate Escape tests, which I never remember. I'm going to have to create tokens for these guys.
That one would have been actually helpful in that last game.
You're right, it would have. That's right, it would have. That's fine. Then I recently got another unit of 20 Beast Snagaboys because someone needs to go in the Hunter rig. So as it is a Beast Snag list, of course I have some Squighog boys, 2 units of those, and 2 knobs to go with them. One of the guys, Captain Rip Snarl, I did just give him an artificer weapon, so on a critical hit the big choppa is going to do a mortal wound in addition to other damage, which should be really nice because with the orcs I'm fetching for critical hits all the time, you know. One of the units of Squighog boys has gotten blooded, and they have tireless raiders, so they can fall back and charge, which is always good. Always good to have. I have 2 units of Gretchen. One of them has got 9 experience points. And when they got blooded last time, I rolled Feel No Pain 6+ for them. They're Battle Scar resistant. So last game I brought in Zogrod Wartsnaga, which is a named character, but I kind of don't feel bad about it because it just buffs. They just buff up the Gretchen, giving them +1 to hit, +1 to wound, -1 to wound them, and on top of the 6+ Feel No Pain. I just love it. And they're the unit that I made the Gretchen with the Space Marine beaky heads for. And so in our last game I used them for the first time, and after that game I actually ended up using 2 requisition points to buff that squad up from 10 models to 20 models. So yes, I used 2 requisition points for a squad of Gretchen because that's the kind of party I'm interested in playing.
And their command point is delightful.
Oh, they are so cool. I love those guys. And they getting that +1 command point. If they can just sit on the backfield and generate CP and be really hard to kill, sure. Just put them in some terrain so they get a 6+ save.
Yeah.
So anyways, I have a truck, the Squig truck. The Squig truck is also blooded. I forgot it had... Oh, it's got a Blessed Vault, 5+ invulnerable save.
That would have helped you too.
I really need to make tokens for these guys. Or what I should do is
You could edit it on your scrolls.
Yeah, what I should do is just make custom war scrolls for them.
Well, I mean, you have those ones that you've printed.
Yeah, I have them printed, and I could just write it on it. I could just write it with a pen.
Yeah. I mean, technically you're making a custom war scroll.
That's definitely something I could do. I could actually just write with a pen. Sure. Sure.
And you can always print them out again if you need, like...
I could photocopy them?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Wow.
That's a weird thought.
Thanks, GW.
Yeah, anyways, I recently added some Defcoptas. They were pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're not great in combat, but they're pretty cool with the rocket launches.
When they hit.
And that's it. I have removed some units, like in the last couple of games I had knobs. They were cool, and the knob with WA Banner, which I talked about on the show previously. They're pretty cool, but they're pretty pricey. I might bring them back when we get up to 2,000 points, but I want more
utility.
Utility. Yeah, I want more utility in the army right now at this early stage. So yeah, they're going to stay out for now. I do have 55 points left that I can put into the army. I might just like base that decision on what mission we roll next time.
Okay.
Yeah, in our last game I brought in some Gretchen that I said were mercenaries or whatever, but I don't really need more Gretchen. In the last points upgrade, points change really tanked. My points went down a lot. So yeah, I think after playing a few games that I'm super happy with this list. I think it's a lot of fun. What's your roster look like?
Yeah, got it. All right. So my heroes for this are, I brought a Neuro Tyrant. Again, he is my warlord for this purpose. I am in my roster. I also have the Parasite of Mortrex. He wasn't in the last game. I also have a model that we're calling the Mother, who is of course the Turvagon, who is in every game because what I chose. So as I said before, when we first started, we were using. I took the Leviathan box, and I used everything in the Leviathan box plus to make it up to 1,000 points because it was a little short. In that box comes a Winged Prime, who at that point in time wasn't very useful. So what I did was I actually took and used some of my requisition points, which now is like part of the swarm ability with biomass, and transformed him into a Turvagon.
Okay.
When I just based it off of what you were able to do before. I think
basically another creature comes along and eats it.
Or it gets redigested and its consciousness transfers into the new creature, which is pretty neat. So that one is now called the Mother. That's pretty much it for my leader beasts as far as heroes. I do want to at some point in time bring Death Leaper just because the new model's so cool.
That's rad.
Yeah, but that's probably like you were talking about that 2,000 point game is when I'll probably look to do that. So and then continuing on, I have a unit of Barb Gaunts.
Those are really cool.
Good.
Those are like the long, the 48-inch shooting, D6 blast.
Yes, they are quite potent. Yes, and they have their upgrade is the scout move. Oh, I forgot to talk about the upgrades of the other things, and I'll get into that in a second. So the Barb Gaunts have an upgrade which allows them to do that scout move that he was talking about in his units, which is really potent on a unit that I don't want to move the first turn to shoot.
And it gets them into position to do the shooting.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
Which helped me in this last game.
Right.
And then Biovores. I have one of the new Biovores that's in there.
Previous games was a teeny tiny little man on a square base.
Yep. Actually looks like spores instead
spores.
of my...
Yeah.
So I have a second edition... The only Biovores that I had before were second edition Biovores. So there were the metal cast, and then they were second edition spores. So they were like super tiny. Like they were like you kind of almost forgot they were there on the board. Then I got a unit of our gargoyles, which are currently blooded, and I don't remember what they got for their upgrade. Their upgrade is they get +1 to hit on the turn they charge.
Oh.
That could be really useful if it wasn't on gargoyles who hit.
That's true, but if you just keep on attacking Gretchen with them...
True.
I mean...
That is what they're there for.
I'm really hoping that the super runts are able to actually hold that back, because actually, like...
I think they will be able to.
Yeah, I think they will be survivable enough to like live for a turn, that's pretty great for Gretchen.
Yeah, and then I have a unit called the Maliceptors in there too. I think you understand. He doesn't like the Maliceptor very much.
Well, it's just one weapon upgrade on the Maliceptor, man.
No, the Maliceptor doesn't have. That's the Screamer Killer. The issue you have with the Maliceptor is its basic ability says, oh, you're within 6 inches, -1 to hit. And then all your units that have strength, -1 to wound. And he's like, ugh.
So gross.
Every time he's gone up against that, it has hurt him in many ways. It also has an upgrade, and the upgrade is it has +1 toughness.
Ooh, you just got that, I think.
I did, because we were using the...
And here's Chug-a-Mug. Hi, Chuggy Chug. Come here, baby.
Yeah, we're filming or recording in an alternate location today.
Yeah, we have a different doggy to play with. Hi,
yes, who's quite noisy.
Say something. He does not like the
doesn't like the microphone. Nope.
Say something. He just ran away from it.
He doesn't like it. Okay, back to my order of battle. Then I have Neurogons, who have also, they just hit Blooded. Their upgrade is +1 armor when shot, which is great because they are where my boss boy is.
Oh.
Which is good, but they're also toughness 3, 6-up save. So they get a 5-up save when they're shot.
Okay.
Woo. And then I have the Neuro Tyrant, as I was saying before, but I did forget to go through his ability or his upgrades. So one of them, he got the ability to, it is a Tyranid ability, a new Tyranid ability, which allows them, it's called Psychic Aberration. It allows them to look at a unit that's been 12 inches that is battle shocked and remove it once per game. So they can be like, oh, my Tyranid force is battle shocked. No.
Right,
take that away. And
which,
it's cool
which is not as super useful considering you don't get battle shocked a lot.
Well,
might have been useful for you this game because the last game because I think your Zoanthropes got battle shocked.
My Zoanthropes died before they even got to do anything.
Oh, okay.
It was actually this model got battle shocked.
Oh,
yeah. Even with the rolling 3 dice, I rolled a 2, a 3, and a 1. So he was just shook right off the bat. No, the cool thing with this one is it actually has a longer range than Synapse. So it could be a unit that I know is going to fail Synapse because it's a 12-inch. This ability is a 12-inch, and Synapse is only 6. So that's kind of helpful. And actually, my Turvagon also has that ability.
Okay.
But the other thing that I ended up getting was I decided to give him a relic because he is my warlord. So every time he kills a model, if he is below starting health, he gains 1 health. And until the next command phase, that unit, if he gains a health, he has +1 strength until my next command phase. Yeah, it surges him up for 1 round, and then which is cool, except it only works on melee attacks.
Oh.
And he's only strength 4 in melee.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not good at melee. But that's okay. His psychic Overwatch ability is so good.
Oh, jeez.
It's so mean.
So ridiculous.
And then I have the Parasite of Mortrax.
Did you say what the no, we didn't. What are the what's the attack? It's like
so it is a torrent. It's a torrent weapon.
Yeah.
So it ignores cover.
It automatically hits and it ignores cover.
So what I also did, and I used a are they called Crusade points? No, they're called Requisition points. At the beginning, when we first started, he got a battle trait or enhancement, and because now I'm changing to a different army, he got one of the enhancements off of the new book.
Okay.
So what he did was I ended up giving him the enhancement from the new book that says he gets +1 to his AP and +1 to the strength of his shooting attack.
Oh, nice.
So that's what that is. That's an enhancement, which I do not understand why it's 10 points.
Yeah.
That's a little bit strong for 10 points.
Really wondering how to handle enhancements. And I think I was a little confused in the Crusade episode. I actually think I misread this or skimmed it, or I was super tired like I always am these days now. So I thought you didn't have to pay a requisition point for enhancements. I was wrong.
Okay.
Very wrong.
So how does it read?
Well, okay, so how it works is it's actually kind of just the worst. Okay, so it costs 1 RP for an enhancement.
Okay.
At first, if you give it to like a new character.
Okay.
And you can actually buy this upgrade, or if a character gains a
Okay.
And it can be any enhancement they would normally have access to.
Be eligible for.
When you create your army, like your actual your army roster, not your crusade roster, you still select a detachment that you would have access to. So you don't select your detachment as a part of the crusade force. You select it as whatever army you're taking for that battle.
Yeah. Okay.
So I guess that would let you.
And let me just. I think, and the way that I originally put it in there was I used a requisition point when I put him in my list, just saying he is enhanced. And I just said, okay, that is what I've done with this guy. And the way that I thought in my head is kind of what it was saying, sort of. The thing that worried me was knowing that there was a book coming and that many books are going to be coming.
Right.
And what they are going to do with detachments and when it comes to Crusade.
Right.
So one of the things that we talked about actually while we were playing this last game was, especially because Tyranids do have quite a... when it comes to their crusade rule, they are very kind of fluid with how they
and they
are
should be. They're
things.
Tyranids.
Yeah. So and I can get into more of that once I go into what we selected, but I'll finish reading the rest of my list and then we can get into that when we talk about our game.
Right,
okay. So but next is my Parasite of Mortrex. I already talked about him. I got a Psychophage. He has done nothing. He's killed nothing. Yeah. He's literally just existed for 4 games. He's a nice utility piece because he gives my whole army a 6-up feel no pain. That anybody who's within a certain number of inches from him. Then I have a unit of Termagants. So I originally, because the Leviathan box came with 20, I actually had 2 units of 10. So what I did was I just had one unit eat the other one and they became 20. And so yeah. Then I have the Lictor. He actually got a name right out the rip. He's called the Watcher because Adam doesn't like Always Strikes First. It scares him.
It's terrifying.
Then there's the Horospex. He in his first game killed enough stuff, so he almost fully leveled up just from killing characters because I chose Headhunter as my agenda, and he killed 3 characters, so that got him 9 experience. 9 experience. So that was pretty crazy. He's only been in 1 game. And then I have a unit of Von Ryan Leapers. The Von Ryan Leapers, I'm going to be spending a RP or biomass to evolve them into a Neurolictor because I really liked him. He was fun to use in our game. And then I have a unit of Zoanthropes. And that is my... Oh, and as far as damage units that are scarred, my Termagants have a scar, and they have, I believe I rolled the -1 movement scar, which is really mean because they only have a 5-inch. Now they have a 5-inch move, and then I have Zoanthropes. I haven't been able to roll their scar yet because I'm not sure which direction I'm going to go. So that's just where we're at right now. And my Horospex is his evolution. He actually ended up going down the Behemoth tree.
Okay.
So I am I'm about to go to the second version or the second level of the Behemoth tree.
Okay. I didn't realize you were on that. I got to keep track of that because I have the guys who are...
You do. Your 20 men are hunting.
The 20 model unit are... Yeah. They've got 2 marks for the Tyrannic War Veterans. You need, I think, 10 in order to upgrade. So yeah,
so what I wanted to do originally, thinking that they had a monster tree for the Crusade rules, they don't. I wanted to have somebody in every single one so we can kind of I can look at what each one does for each unit or what it could work for. But then into our actual this most recent game, and off of the new Tyranid Codex for their Crusade rules. Yeah, one of the interesting things that they did for the new Tyranid Codex is that they didn't change the Crusade rules at all. They changed a couple pieces, they made resistance points.
Yeah, and they didn't I think there's just biomass. There's not.
There's both,
right?
Except they changed it so it's not resistance points, it's games played.
Yeah.
Also, one of the cool things they did do is they added in medals. So, like, you can have achievements now. So if you
they
take
have
over a planet,
there's achievements.
Right, it's the last page of the book before you get to points.
Right.
Some of them are pretty cool. So I thought that was neat. But because they really didn't change all that much, what I've decided to do as kind of like, and we talked about it a little bit before we started. So because there's 3 stages to every invasion or every planet takeover, I'm going to be using the 6 different detachments, 2 in each one, depending on what stage I'm in. Currently, we're actually in the 2nd stage of the Hive planet that we're on. And so what we talked about was the fact that puts us actually into the detachments for... I think I chose to put the Endless Swarm
that makes
and
sense.
the Hive Nexus, or the Synapse Nexus, are the 2 that I'm going to be using for this specific invasion step.
Right, and again, you're not locked into a detachment for a Crusade army.
No.
As far as I can tell. And again, we went back and we actually read Renowned Heroes again. It's a little complicated, but you definitely have to pick an enhancement for it.
Yeah.
And it's it costs 1 RP for the first enhancement you take for the army. 2 RP for the second enhancement you take for the army. 3 RP for the third enhancement you take for the army, and you can't take any more enhancements after that. And then it says if you're disgraced or have mark of shame, you can't take one.
Interesting.
Because you're not cool enough.
Yeah.
You can take one from any detachment that you have available to you. And it says to do it even though you don't know what detachment you're using. And when you go back to the detachment rules say you have to pick one from the detachment that you're using. But if you've already picked one for Crusade purposes, that part is skipped.
Yeah.
Like you already have it. You're not barred from taking it. And the way that the enhancements read, they don't say can only be used by a model that is in this detachment or whatever. And none of the rules actually enhance only models in a detachment, because it just assumes that you're taking a detachment. So what I'm getting at is you're paying the points for it regardless, because it says to increase the character's points cost.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I actually think you get the benefit regardless of what detachment you're using in Crusade.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the way that I was looking at it was that it's almost like it gives you a slot to put in in an enhancement, and then based on what that enhancement's cost is, that's what your cost goes up by. Like, so when I build my list, not my Crusade list, when I build my actually army list to play against you, I say, okay, I'm going to take the Endless Swarm detachment, so I'm going to take one of these enhancements that is XYZ points, and that increases that model's points by XYZ.
Yeah, that's not how it reads.
But and we he went back. We've gone back now and looked at it, and it's a little bit
you just get
unclear.
to pick any enhancement you want from any detachment, and regardless of what detachment you run in the game, you get that enhancement. So if you have an Endless Swarm enhancement and you run Crusher Stampede, you just get the Endless Swarm enhancement. That's interesting. That's how I read it. You get to break the rules in Crusade, which
wonderful.
In Crusade, I think that's fine.
It is, and I guess it also shows you that that model is meant to be in the other detachment.
Right, that's also true. So, you could have a couple characters that are like
my Turvagon would be my Endless Swarm leader.
Yeah.
And then I could just bring in a couple extra leaders to fill the holes.
Right. I still think it's a little funky. I think they could have done it better.
It could be clear. Yeah, oh, definitely.
It could definitely be clear, and it could be more elegant. Like, just say, like you said, like that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, well, if there were a requisition for this, it would be best if it just like gave you the ability to take an enhancement when you build your list.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some folks could agree or disagree, but
since our first 4 games and then now one book with the game, I have technically switched my enhancement. I went from the one that made it so I could redeploy 3 units to this one, thinking that it was option.
Well, I think at this point, when a new codex comes out, you should be able to rethink your list anyways.
True, but I mean,
it's fine by me.
to be real, the Tyranid Codex didn't change a lot. It added a couple units. The big thing was this point change that we had.
With so many detachments, though.
That was big.
That's the big change.
That's the big change. And it gives me, 6 times 6 is that many stratagems that I have to now relearn. Although I only have to remember 6 at a time, which is really nice. And it is a reduction. And I'm very happy that they're taking that, what people were saying, and that there was too many freaking stratagems in the game. Because that's true. There were. There was way too many before.
Right.
But we're going back to 9th, and we're not there anymore. So.
Again, if folks want to come up with a reason why I'm wrong, please do. But like the detachment rule says you can only select a enhancement from that detachment. But the Crusade rule says you can select a enhancement from anywhere.
And then you're upgraded.
And you are upgraded. It doesn't say, the detachment rule doesn't say you don't get the benefits of an enhancement from another thing. It just says you can't select one.
Yep.
So since Renowned Heroes says you can select any one you want, I don't see anything that will bar you from getting the benefits of that selected enhancement.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
let's get out of the crunchiness here.
Yeah, so going back to the world steps. So the way I pretty much said was the first tier, I'm going to use Invasion Fleet, and I'm going to use Vanguard, because those are the things that hit planets first.
Yeah.
And then the second one we already talked about really quickly, a while ago now. And then the third one is going to be Crusher Stampede, and the one where everything tries to eat the planet. Fair. So that's what at least my headcanon is going to be for now.
So those are our Crusade armies. Let's talk a little bit about the progression of the campaign so far.
Come here, boy. Get the ball. Come on, Max. Get the ball. Mom, Max won't get the ball. He's lazy.
I think I know why your Zote is being lazy, Jenny.
Why, Mom?
Because you forgot to feed him his Zotobix today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Zotobix contains all the nutrients and random animal parts a growing Zote craves. It not only provides our Zote with the energy it needs to play with you and protect our home, but it also keeps its chitinous shell fresh and shiny.
Oh, boy. I'd better feed Max his Zotobix.
Yes, you had.
Zotobix is made in part from grade A Astra Militarum post-engagement byproduct and is infused with 112 essential vitamins and minerals harvested from your Zote's natural habitat, the finest desert deserts. Zotobix is available in any shopping center on worlds where Zotes are allowed or where the Imperium's inexorable influence has not yet reached.
So we started off with boarding actions games. I don't remember the first couple of missions. All I remember is doing the Red Angel's Wake as our last one.
Well, part of our reason I can tell you right now, the first one we did was the basic of basic. It was like the first one out of the very first book because I had never played at that point in time.
We wanted to actually try to use boarding actions.
And then the second one we did was the Boiler Room.
Oh, yeah, Boiler Room.
Because
you
melted half of my army. It was great. And the last one was the one where the board split and my Lictor jumped across an 8-inch gap.
The spaceship actually split, and we decided to do like a strength check to see, because that was when models had strength values.
Yep.
We did a strength check to see it for each model in a unit to see if it could jump across the splitting spaceship.
Yep.
And that was really cool. The Lictor jumped across and bit my face.
And the orcs didn't make it.
No.
But they didn't lose a model. So the way we had it in our headcanon was that there was almost like a chain of orcs holding hands.
Yeah, like a barrel of monkeys.
Back.
And then the lictor jumped across and ate a bunch of orcs. That was a lot of fun. Love that episode, or love that mission.
It was a fun mission.
So the first mission for the actual 10th edition mission that we had was the rotting biomass. That was an interesting first one that we did. It was all about like the fact that all the guardsmen and stuff are all dead, and you're really just mopping up, and we're fighting over the remains of the human population.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did win that one, and then after that we did Spawning Ground. Yep. That was a cool mission. That one had that one was kind of about you congealing all of the biomass into pools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it was if you go back into the Discord, if you're a part of it, we did the very interesting rainbow.
Yes, my Zinch train, my rainbow like aquarium rocks. That we took the objectives, and then we put the aquarium rocks down 3 inches away from the objective, and then filled in the middle. Yep. And that was those were the spawning pools. Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun.
And I remember with that game, now that we've talked about it already, that was the one where the one objective you picked actually ended up being the one that you wanted. Because it had the choicest meats. And that's where we came up with the chef idea. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And even though I lost that mission, I was like, well, yeah, but this one has the best yummies. Yeah. The best meats. So that was fine by me. It was a secondary objective. It was not a secondary objective, an agenda.
Because it was you picked 2 objectives, and then whichever one you were controlling something like that. You pretty much were like, oh, if I can't do that one, then I'll do this one. Yeah. And it just happened to be it flipped to the right one.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It's fun how like sometimes these rules create a narrative on their own. Mm-hmm. Even with like sometimes it's the rules that happen first, and then the narrative happens because of the rules. Mm-hmm. The next one was Routed Prey. I think we decided this one wasn't quite as fun for our armies.
No.
Because it started out, I couldn't assault into your starting area, which was like 12 inches in or some 10 or 12 inches in. And I had a full 2 turns of movement before you came on.
Yep. And you actually set yourself up so that when I arrived, I wasn't going to be able to get out.
Yeah, and so the victory conditions are I have to be in like 10 inches from my deployment zone. And it was really interesting. Some folks online are saying that maybe the designers forgot that you can't come in turn 1 anymore in narrative play. Like now they've changed it so that in narrative play you have to start coming in turn 2. Mm-hmm. But I think we found that if the attacker could come in turn 1, I don't think the defender could possibly win the game.
I think that, and again, we ran into a different problem because of our armies being kind of like combined arms, where like we do a lot of melee. Yeah. And then we also, my army shoots it's going away, and then something else comes in and beats you up. Yeah. So your army is all about closing the gap and smacking
and
melee.
Holding you off.
Yeah.
Like I found that the horde armies are all about kind of stopping the enemy and standing there and getting ground down so that the enemy can't score those back objectives.
Yep. Grind for 4 turns and you don't lose.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was really interesting to see. I think it would have been more fun with a shooty army, but again, if you could come in turn 1, I think a shooty army, the attacker would win every time.
I think so.
So then we played Secure the Tunnels to see. This one was really neat. It was Dawn of War deployment, and a whole bunch of objectives, and you had to perform an action to look for the entrance.
Almost like turning on extra points.
Yeah. Like you were scoring for holding objectives, but you're also scoring again for holding discovered entrance points.
Mm-hmm. It did give a lot of points. However, it also made it so certain objectives, if it was rolled early in the game, became very important.
Very, very important. And the narrative was that you were tunneling up from underground, and so what we did was, even though it was Dawn of War deployment, we put the Orc Shantytown on the right side, and we put the Wilderness on the left side. So some of my army that I deployed was coming in from the Wilderness because they were hunting, and the other part of my army was sitting in the shantytown gambling and eating and grilling, whereas you were just tunneling up regardless of where from the side. So that one was interesting.
You did talk about this one on your show, and I think that you went into it pretty well, but again, it was one of those games where, like, right at the end, it became a tie, and we were both like, "Really?" Like,
another tie, second tie. Yeah. So I guess that brings us to
our most recent
game.
Yep.
So in this game, we played Kicking the Nest, where my army was gonna, even since we couldn't figure out what tunnels were what and get anywhere through the tunnels, I went straight for the most biomass I could find, and maybe we can find an entrance to the tunnels there. Kind of like wherever the most resistance was probably a way to get into the spawning tunnels. We played Kicking the Nest. Kendrick, do you remember what the objective setup for that was?
So the way this one worked was, it was kind of like you had one central objective. The deployment was actually Hammer and Anvil. And then there were 4 objectives. What was it? 12 inches away from the center. To each corner of the table.
Yeah, to each corner.
So it was like a box around a central objective.
Right.
Pretty much what we ended up doing was we said that central objective was a big egg.
A big egg, yeah.
Which is why
a delicious embryo inside.
Which is why I brought the Norn emissary to the battle, saying we both decided. We talked about it a little. earlier.
And that was the super objective where it would be 50. You count. So this is a neat ability for the Norn emissary. Normally it's OC5, but you get to pick one objective where if the Norn emissary is standing on it, it becomes OC15.
And it has a Feel No Pain of 5+.
Yeah, because that's its objective. That's its egg. It laid that egg.
And then also, so that's what happens at the beginning of the game. You get to pick between that, or you pick a target, a specific enemy, and you say that's the thing that's got to die, and you end up having rerolls hits and rerolls wounds with that Norn emissary.
You picked correctly.
I think I did. Yeah. I think everybody's going to be picking correctly.
Oh, yeah, you think that's going to be
I think the objective is going to be the more consistent. Well, Warhammer is an objective game.
Yeah.
And the Norn emissary is good, and it can definitely kill a thing, but after it kills that thing, it's not as useful anymore.
Yeah. So make it stand on an objective and live.
Yeah, make it stand on one of your opponent's objectives and say, what are you going to do about me?
Right.
You need this, don't you?
Yeah, so this one was pretty interesting, and all the objectives were sticky as well.
And they gave, if you had an aura ability, it doubled the size of your aura abilities.
Which Tyranids are all about their auras.
Oh my god, yeah, it's like
because a lot of characters in the game right now are all about what they do when they're attached, but Tyranid characters
don't attach to hardly
specifically have a lot of aura stuff. So this one was really meant to be played with Tyranids, which it's a Tyranid campaign. The scoring was interesting. It was hold 1, hold more, hold an objective with your warlord, and hold the center.
Yep. So you could get 20.
And again, you picked that center. What really happened here was I chose to Wa on turn 1. Even though I was going second, I chose to Wa on turn 1 because I was basically saying, come at me. So if you moved into the center and took the center, like you probably should have,
probably,
that would have let me, then I would have been able to advance and charge your entire army. And we would have been stuck right in the middle, fighting over the middle objective the entire game. Instead, you chose to be... I think it was the right call, but it ended up like backfiring later. Now, we'll get into that. You held back, which wasted my WOG. Mm-hmm. I could not charge you, and your shooting is okay, but not...
I don't have long range.
Yeah, if I'm playing against Tau or Eldar, I probably still WA turn 1 just to get the 5-up invuln.
Oh yeah.
But against you, it's not all that important.
Nope.
My turn 1 WA was a strategic WA. Mm-hmm. To either say, I'm going to charge you in the middle, or
stay off.
Or stay off the middle. Mm-hmm. So when I went, I moved all my stuff. I took the center objective, and I scored 20 points. Going second in this game is really good. You're going to score 20 points probably on turn 1.
Most likely.
So I moved everything up. And what were your thoughts going into turn 2?
So before I get into that, I actually wanted to quickly say I used the Synapse Nexus as my special thing for this one. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet.
What's that?
So what that allows you to do is it's like the old Synaptic Imperatives like you had for 9th edition, but you only have 3 of them that you can choose from, which turns out I misused one, and we'll talk about that later. And so one of them is you get a 5-up Feel No Pain, or 5-up Invuln, sorry. 5-up Invuln. One of them is you get +1 to hit in melee, and one of them is you get +1 to your advance and charges.
Okay.
But you only get them once per game, each one. So you can, but you can choose when they become active.
Okay.
Like they trigger. But so when we went into turn 2, I felt like I was going to do okay. My plan didn't really change much. Like you got the center objective, that didn't bother me all that much. I knew I had the Norn Emissary that was going to be able to go up and contest it if I wanted to. The thing I really wanted to do was in turn 2, I needed to get rid of your first 20-man with your Warlord in it.
Yeah.
That was my objective, and that was what I really needed to whittle that unit down, because they're just sitting right in the middle.
And if, you know what? You ended up taking out almost every boy in that unit.
I ended up killing, I think it was 10. I killed 10 of them.
Yeah, and you also... Well, and that's just it. On my turn, I moved them up, and then you overwatched them with the... What is it called again?
It's the Neuro Tyrant.
The Neuro Tyrant, which... That unit upsets me. Anyways, you killed a bunch of them on my turn too. So I only had a few boys left in that squad with the Warlord, and on your turn too, you actually killed the truck and all but one model in that truck.
Yeah, in the 10-man, which was not that had nothing to do with the Norn. That was the Norn Emissary, actually, with its psychic attack, was able to pop a truck. One attack. It only had 2. It only has 2.
Yeah.
Which I was very surprised that I was able to pop a truck that easily. But hey, I was happy.
And your Barb Gaunts are the ones I think who killed everybody else.
Most of the unit,
truck.
Yeah.
So I didn't honestly. I didn't have a whole lot left pushing the center. I had that 20 model unit in the Hunter rig, which was my main. I everything was kind of hinging on that, because although the Squig Hog boys are good, they're kind of dumb.
They held your entire flank.
They remind me actually of the Griff Knights, the Demigriff Knights from the old Cities of Sigmar army, where they are a cavalry unit, which in your mind from like a reality perspective should be a shock unit that kills a bunch of stuff and flanks, but in reality they are a fast moving tank more than anything else. And they can hold a position for quite some time. They have a built-in 5-up Feel No Pain, and they're pretty freaking cool.
I think their biggest drawback is they are so fast. So certain players might outpace the rest of their army. with them.
In which I do on occasion, but in this game I sent them up the flank and I deep struck the Death Copters on the other side. So I had harrying units on either side of your line while the boys got out, jumped in and swarmed the center and went after the Norn Emissary and the Psychophage. Okay. So and in this one, the Norn Emissary wasn't part of your Crusade force. It was coming in as kind of a let's use the new cool model.
Yeah. We used him, so we both chose a mercenary unit.
Yeah, which I think is a cool thing to do in Crusade every once in a while, especially if you're kind of like, I have 55 points and I don't have a 55-point unit to add. Like, you know what? Just bring in a mercenary and they don't get experience. Yeah. It's fine.
However, I think it would be really cool in the future if we do, and especially if you use your Gretchen as mercenaries. Because we were talking and I was saying that those guys, because every time you are on an objective in the command phase, they roll a dice. And I said that for every one, it's not that they steal an object or a command point from you. It's that the command point they would have given you, they put back in their pocket because they found something. They just don't want to give it to you.
They don't want to give it to you. Yeah, I love that. So I was able to get out, and since all your big bugs were like 9 or 10 inches away from that center objective, they were able to clog up the center and stop you from scoring that center objective. Yep. And moreover, so I scored 20 points on turn 1. I scored 20 points on turn 2. And then I
screwed up turn 3.
You did screw up turn 3. Turn 3, I had very little left in that center. You had whittled it down quite a bit. That entire left flank, my left flank, your right flank, I had chewed through most of, I chewed through the gaunts, the zoanthropes, everything that was over the Biovore, I think it was. Chewed through all of that, and I was about to head towards the center with the remains of my squig hogs. We were pretty much tied at that point. So at that point I had 40.
And I had 20.
Yeah, you had 20. So what you decided to do was come after the squig hogs and try to kill them.
Well, so what I did wrong, this is where turn 3 is where I lost the game.
Yeah, you made a mistake.
So the center objective was something that I easily could have taken because on my turn I used Shadow of the Warp.
Yeah.
Which, as we have now learned, Shadow of the Warp can be really powerful if it works.
Yeah.
So I used Shadow of the Warp, and then almost everything in your army shook.
Battle shocked.
You were battle shocked almost the whole way across your battle line.
Yep.
And I made a mistake. So I take my Lictor, and I want to go after his objective near his field, his side. But I also brought in gargoyles behind the lines, and which at this point in time I've been using to do one of my agendas, which is fine. But if I had brought them forward and taken that objective away from you,
stood on the objective with all of your with that huge number of models,
and then take the Lictor and go after the center objective, I would have been able to get 20 right there.
You probably would have gotten 20. I might have gotten still 10.
Well, the problem is that was the turn that I took that unit in that 20-man, and I brought them down to 5.
Yeah. No, I think I still could have gotten 10, but at the same time, you would have gotten 20, and that probably would have won you the game. But instead, I got 20.
Yep.
And you got
I think I got 15.
10 or 15, yeah. And after that, as with orcs all the time, especially when you go horde orcs like I am in this campaign, I had nothing left at the end. You tabled me at the end, except for one unit of Gretchen.
Yeah,
that unit of Gretchen survived fighting again. They were in combat with the what are they called? Harpies? Gargoyles. In combat with the gargoyles by the end of turn 5. But even though you scored 20 at the end there, it didn't matter.
Yeah, you were ahead of me by 5 points.
But by 5 points.
Yeah, so we were able to bring it really close. But like I said, I was very surprised on how efficient the emissary was.
Oh yeah, very cool. If you'd stayed on the center objective with the emissary and tied up the squig hogs with something else, because that's what happened. I was able to fall back with the squig hogs, jump on the center objective,
yep,
and just get the 5 points for the center objective.
Yep,
and hold one.
Yeah, you got 5 points on the last round, technically.
10 points.
Yeah, 10 points. Yes,
about 5 additional points because you abandoned the center objective.
Yep. I should. What I could have done. My only problem was I had nothing to get rid of your character.
Yeah.
On that side, so, but I still didn't kill him anyways.
Yeah, he was fine.
Because again, those squig dudes, when they because of the way that they are very difficult to move.
Yeah.
They're hard to get picked up in melee. They are not an army that can be... I'm sure there's armies out there that could shoot them to death.
Oh, sure.
But because I'm a melee army, I don't have a lot that can just like, oh, boink, because it's toughness 7, which is a hard number for me.
It's crazy.
3 wounds apiece?
3...
Because I think the copters are 4 wounds apiece, toughness 6.
Yeah.
Which, again, those were very scary. The first round that they dropped, they neutered the Barbgons.
Yeah, they did.
But the problem was the second round that they fired, they didn't hit.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, they did. Oh, I felt so bad.
Well, the first round that they attacked, I mean, the rocket launches, the rockets have blast. So, and you had 5 models.
Yep.
So a 3d3 plus 3 attacks. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I've been having a lot of fun so far. Yeah. A lot of fun with the first boarding actions games. A lot of fun with the 10th edition 40k games. I think when you play this game with the narrative outlook and with fun terrain, I think you can have a good time.
Yeah.
I think it's possible I'm actually playing orcs the most. I'm not going to say I'm playing competitively, but I actually think that from a competitive standpoint, I'm pretty sure that the Beast Nagas are the best.
You may have whoopsied into the best.
I may have whoopsied into the best, but I'm not really playing it super competitive anyways. So that's, I mean, Christ, I have a 20 model unit of Gretchen with Zagrod Wartsnaga. So,
but he's delightful.
He is delightful. So, what's next? We definitely want to do some more boarding actions, but it's like going to be underground.
Yeah, we're going to do tunnel fights.
Tunnel fighting, and I think that should be a lot of fun. I'm going to see if I actually can't borrow my buddy's TV. My buddy Gene, you know Gene.
Oh, yeah.
Gene has a 50-inch television that he's put in a plexiglass case.
Yep.
For the purposes of D&D.
Yep.
I'm going to see if I can't borrow it so I can put together a underground boarding actions game for us so we don't have to... Because, I mean, it is... Okay, I did go through all that effort to actually build and paint an entire boarding action set.
You did?
But I would love for it to actually look like a Tyranid underground.
Yeah, that could be cool.
It could be cool. What I might end up doing is doing it in... Tabletop Simulator, and just putting it on that TV, and we'll actually use real models. We'll be using real models, but using Tabletop Simulator for the terrain.
Are we playing D&D 1?
So
that's what that feels like.
I'm not sure what that'll represent. I know that's kind of what we were going for to get to, like...
I have another thought.
Yeah.
And maybe we do it like this, okay? Because we've now hit that point where we're at 1,600 points, there's 2 different options we have. We could do two or 3 boarding actions in the tunnels on this planet, have our capstone game at 2K, and then we kick it to another planet. And I roll with the next
roll for another planet. I love that idea. Yeah.
And then we start at the invasion step again.
Yeah.
And we can work our way up. And this way it could be your guys are just chasing mine, and it's your orcs are slowly like hitting the planet, and you're able to bring the guys back.
I love that. Do you have like a track of biomass?
Currently, I actually because of the way that I played, and technically it made it so I lost the game, I got D6 biomass, which I haven't rolled for yet.
Should we roll it?
Yeah, we can.
Let's roll it. All right, Kendrick, give me a roll. How much biomass did you get from that plan?
I got 4 biomass.
4 biomass. What does that get?
So that means I have to play, I think, at minimum 1 game, and if I win, I will definitely have it. If I lose, I have to just score a secondary.
So let's play 1, 2, or 3 boarding actions games.
Yeah.
And what it'll be is, yes, I'm going after some, like, I guess, like Tyranid. I would say Tyranid veal, shall we say.
Yep. Well, that's what I was thinking. Hive node. It's like, you know, you're going after that very
but at the
soft
same
target.
time, because I'm committing so many orc forces to going after the tunnels, it's basically a bait and switch where you're collecting the biomass of the orcs being trapped in the tunnels.
Yeah, or it's that I'm just harvesting the rest of the planet while you're off doing something.
Good point. So all of those things will even though we're only playing 500-point games, if you win games in the tunnels, that's drawing me in further and allowing... The biomass is actually coming from other sources, either like orcs being trapped in the tunnels or you harvesting the rest of the planet, but you're just kind of just locking me into this me obsessive compulsively trying to go after this really delicious meat.
And I think what we should do as like our final thing is for this planet we should just do a 2K game.
The final thing will be like maybe an escape of some kind. Like I'm trying to get off the planet, we're both trying to get off the planet. Well, maybe we'll let the boarding actions games help
show
kind of inform the decision of what game we play later, but we don't know what that is yet. Okay, so let's move on and talk about the models that you built and painted. Damn, I knew it was around here somewhere. Damn, where is it?
Can I help you?
Ah! Scared me.
What do you seek?
I need the perfect scenario for a narrative game I'm running this week, and I can't find one.
Sir, this is the Black Library. We don't have narrative scenarios.
Well, then where should I go?
Might I recommend the Tabletop Campaign Repo?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo? What's that?
The Tabletop Campaign Repo is an ad-free site for hosting resources related to playing tabletop miniatures wargaming.
Oh, like scenarios?
Absolutely. Also, event packs, custom objectives, tracking sheets, custom terrain rules, maps, icon packs, award templates, and more.
Oh, and this is for Warhammer 40k?
Among other things. There's also Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and others. They're always open for content submissions for any system, even non-Games Workshop materials.
Oh, that's awesome. It sounds like a great way to save all of this great content the community makes. A lot of that stuff often ends up disappearing into a dead message board or Facebook group.
Exactly. It's a real community effort.
Great. So how do I get there?
Just go to that webway gate marked tcrepo.com.
tcrepo.com. Got it. Can I ask you one more question before I go?
Fire away.
This place is really easy to find. How come Aramon can never find it?
Oh, because it's more funny that way.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Once again, the Tabletop Campaign repository can be found at tcrepo.com, and they're always looking for submissions.
All right, welcome back. So, thank you to Games Workshop for providing us like every new model in the Tyranid range. Unfortunately, you couldn't start working on them until the embargo had been lifted. But in that time, you did get... What did you get painted?
I was able to get... technically, I'll go with assembled, and then I'll go with painted. I was able to get assembled the Biovore, the new one.
How cool is that?
So my only issue with that one is the way the legs are placed. It was a great model to put together. It came together really easily. I didn't like how a little shift in the legs make it so the legs don't sit flat.
Oh, okay.
Which is just frustrating. Probably better model builders than
like
me
it's walking.
Yeah,
it's walking basically.
Yeah, well, the problem is it all has pieces of terrain like on its feet to make it so it glues better, because all they are little spindly points. Okay. Which again, better model builders than me could do better, and I'm just not. I was just trying to do it really quick. I got the Death Leaper assembled. I got the Lictor assembled.
How is that? Because I think it's got like a gliding cloak.
Yeah, Death Leaper wasn't bad. He definitely needs to be sub-assembled. So right now that he is off of his base, and I'm going to have to
paint under its.
Yep. So I can get under that cloak. He wasn't bad. And this is the same way for him and the other Lictor. Okay. Their talons, the big, huge praying mantis ones, are a lot of pieces.
Okay, sorry everybody. We had to repair to the 3-season room, and so there's going to be crickets and frogs and nearby pulp factory.
Yeah, sounds like, because I live close to a. Ta-da!
But at least it doesn't smell bad.
That's true. I live upwind.
Yeah, so it's nice.
It's great.
Anyways, you're talking about the talons.
But so the talons are in a Lictor 6 pieces each.
That is insanity. One arm is 6 pieces.
One arm is 6 pieces.
Yikes!
And then the
but it
Death
can be
Leaper,
positioned any way you want.
Yep, and I was going to get into that. But Death Leaper is more, but they are like, because of the way that they're angled, it's so that he has more support. So they're not just super spindly, but he's a beautiful model. So
okay.
But then the Lictor.
Did I tell you the one time I killed Death Leaper in 6th edition with Overwatch with Gretchen?
I have heard the story. Every time you kill a Lictor who isn't Death Leaper.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep. We did have Overwatch back then, right? Yeah, we did. It was 6th and 7th edition that had introduced Overwatch, I think.
So the Lictor. Something that surprised me when you were so gracious to help me get models and gave me those 3. They came in 3 different boxes: the Neurolictor, the Lictor, and then the
you would
Death
think
Leaper.
That would be a combo kit.
I was
but
like,
it's not.
This isn't one box that they just gave. Like, I was expecting only to get one of these, not all 3 of them.
Yeah.
But the reason why the Lictor is in his own box is he has 3 different ways you can build him. So there's like a crouching, like he's stalking mode, there's the he's about to attack you mode, and then there's he's moving forward mode.
Okay, that's with a sense of motion. And I think one of the big complaints about a bunch of the new models, the new 40K models, is that there's not a lot of options. So it's nice to see the more options. Like today I was at the game store. I was over at where was I? I was at Zombie Planet. Okay. And I noticed that the boys kit is now the Push Fit boys kit. I hate that thing so much.
Push Fit has its uses.
Push Fit is fine, but the Push Fit boys kit is terrible because it's, I think what is it? 6 chopper boys, 3 shooter boys, and a knob. I'm like, this is
nobody
trash.
Wants that.
Nobody wants you guys. Anyways, go on.
But then I was able to construct half of the Gene Stealer kit, and they're really cool.
Yeah, that sounds. They look really, really nice, especially on the bigger bases now.
Yeah, I think the thing that makes them nice is they just got a scale up. So if you look at them next to the originals, the new ones just look nicer. Yeah. And it's not like they're any better. Right. Like, there's just certain pieces, certain like molding that just looks a little nicer, a little cleaner.
Yeah, they're almost kind of identical to the old ones, just better. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and the old ones, there's nothing wrong with them. So if you have like 30 of the old ones, I hate to say don't buy them, but I don't have any because a friend of mine started a
GSC army,
Gene Stealer army, and I was like, hey, Gene Stealer cults, you need these. Yeah, I don't, because I don't really like the Gene Stealer side of Tyranids. Right. I'm much more
having a unit or two isn't bad because, especially in Crusade, because you're going to be doing the different stages. And I love that you can go from one planet to another, and switch your units but pass along the upgrades.
Yep.
Love that.
Yeah, it is nice. And then then of course I got the Norn. I chose to make the Norn Emissary.
Dude, that model looks so good. Once you get it based, it's going to be gorgeous.
And I was able to paint the Norn Emissary and the Neurolictor. And I also got the Neurolictor. And the Neurolictor kit is super cool and it's super easy to build. I think I built him in 5 minutes.
Oh, great.
Like, it is so simple because
some of these are just floating heads, basically.
Yeah, this is a super static pose.
Yeah.
You don't really get a lot of options with it, which is fine. But he's a new model. His rules are cool. And I had to paint him. Yeah. So the 2 models that I was able to paint, and I did both of them one night for each of them, which I thought was okay. I did the Norn Emissary first to test out my paint scheme with these new models. And the fact that the newer models have like way more detail in the armor makes because my paint scheme is a purplish skin with a dark green like undertone armor with like very highlighted green, and then orange talons, which looks very cartoony, and I'm trying to figure out a way to make it look less cartoony. Okay. But the funny thing is, if you look at the models, mine and Adam's armies next to each other, we have the same color scheme.
It's so funny.
It's just, I think purple is my difference and you have a tan.
Yeah, I've got yes. So, and that's it for the models that you were able to get together. Yep, maybe we'll talk about the other models next time.
Yep.
I mean, you had very little time to do this, and I really appreciate you crunching the time to do it. That is really a big deal.
To help.
Right. So yeah, next time we're gonna do boarding actions games, and then a 2K game. Maybe the 2K game, I'll bring in some models from my other paint scheme. Maybe bring in some of the freebooters.
Okay.
What are they called? Flash kits.
Yep.
Because they're like a spacefaring, more advanced technologically army.
Okay.
Because my orange army is all a bunch of fighters. They're a bunch of like thugs, right?
Yep.
The blue army are the technological ones.
Okay.
So maybe I'm bringing in some flash
this is your
kits.
orc fleet?
Yeah, the fleet coming in to extract them.
Yeah.
Like maybe they sent out a message saying, "Oi, we need to get out of here so we can chase them down." So maybe there'll be some flash kits there or something to help extract them off the battlefield.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Fun.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense that because I got to get the other box that I have is the Hormagaunts. I'm not a huge Hormagon fan, but as far as boarding action goes, Hormagaunts are great. Like, they are very strong for boarding action. So I'm definitely going to get them assembled so that for our boarding action games, we can give them a shot.
All right. Yeah, I think we have John's bachelor party coming up next weekend. And I think it would make sense for us to not play each other for that, because we get to play each other all the time.
We do play each other quite a bit.
And so I think over the next couple of weeks, I'll work on the terrain situation for our boarding, our nest game. And you can work on the Gaunts maybe. Yeah. And that should be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Kendrick. I really appreciate you doing this with me. And what was this, a 2.5 hour recording session for 1 hour and 20 minutes of content?
Technology hates us.
Issues and all that. But I'm looking forward to our games going forward. And we'll do another one of these maybe after the boarding actions games and after the big finale, and we'll roll the new planet on the air. I do have one question for you, though.
Sure. Because you talk about them all the time. So when are we going to hear about Cities?
Cities of Sigmar? I'm not sure. I bought the box, and I bought a new skull pack.
Cool.
I wasn't able to find any Soulblight Gravelord skeletons, though, at Zombie Planet. I need to get a pack of those so I can see how the new cities models swap with the new skeletons.
Yeah.
I am a little disappointed there's no plumes for the hats. That's not going to work well with my army. I have to find a new way to work in the blue, but we'll see.
I mean,
I have been reading the book. I read the book. I read most of the rules today while I was hanging out with the family. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm just interested to play because I haven't gotten a chance to play against them.
Maybe I am going to bring 40K to I think the bachelor party is going to be a 40K based one, but that's maybe fine. After a little while we can try out some.
We as in the people you went with last year are going to
so jealous. You're
Canada again.
I
gotta and. We in Canada, we are not playing any 40K because and this is nothing
they get a lot of 40K players.
Yeah, they have.
By they we mean from
mini wargaming.
Mini wargaming, yeah.
Pretty much. So we've already talked to them once, and they are great, and they always try to make sure we're completely aware of everything that's going on before we get up there. And they're like, we need Age of Sigmar. And we're like, literally 4 guys that are going up. We all play Age of Sigmar a lot. I think only one of us is like, I don't want to play Age of Sigmar because I have not been having fun with it.
Yeah.
But all the other 3 of us are like, yeah, we'll give you as many. How many games can you get in?
It'll be fine. Once Dave gets his Seraphon up there. No. Dave's.
David is playing 2. David's problem is he's got 2 armies and he doesn't know which one he likes more.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, but David suffers from sometimes having what's the right way to put it? Choice paralysis. Yeah. So if he has 2 choices and they're like, oh, but both are so good and both are new, and then he'll just freeze. And then we get to the point where, hey, this is cutoff where we got to get shit done. And he's like, I didn't get anything done. And it's like, that's fine. If you don't get anything done, that's fine. You still have, he's got Lord of the Rings army he can easily bring. He's playing, supposedly I think he's going to try to play Marvel Crisis Protocol up there.
Right.
So bring some other games. That's fine. I'm sure they'll like to have a couple other things other than just Warhammer stuff.
I'm looking to sell my Seraphon, by the way.
Are you?
Yeah. It's all old models though, so I'll probably sell it for $1.
I mean, you should probably charge more than $1 for that paint scheme.
I mean, I did paint literally 100 Saurus Warriors.
But those new Saurus Warriors are so chonky.
Yeah, but the old Saurus Warriors they're literally the 3rd edition Saurus Warriors.
They are, yeah.
100 and something of those guys.
Yeah, they at least you didn't do Temple Guard. Because those guys are silly.
No, I have 45 Temple Guard.
That makes sense. That's the numbers. They used to come in 5s.
Yeah.
The old blisters and metal medals were in 5s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are way off topic here.
Sorry.
Thanks so much, Kendrick, for doing this with me.
Yeah, you came to me.
Yeah, I came to you.
Yeah.
What is the Anime Plummet?
Yeah, this isn't your same old podcast you hear week to week.
Cartoon podcast.
Yeah, we podcast about the trash, about the shit that no one else wants to talk about.
Podcast about anime on the not so safe for work side.
Trashy alternative.
That's a literal
garbage. Watching things that are bad?
This is the podcast you can't tell your friends about because we cover so much smut and garbage that just isn't covered on other shows.
He's old Mexican.
All the trashy isekais. Yeah, that's what I expected as well.
Yeah, I can do that as well.
Listen to it. Don't take it too seriously. It's just cartoons.
How would I describe this podcast? It's aight.
Check out the Anime Plummet podcast, part of the Anime Summit Podcast Network. Why are you laughing at me?
Okay. I have to go parent.
Okay. We're gonna do the outro real quick.
That's what I'm doing. I'm telling I'm telling the listeners and you that I have to go parent.
Oh, okay.
And that's fine. It's what you do. I'm gonna have to teach my son about mic discipline. Because nobody taught me about mic discipline. So only you can teach your children about these things. Okay, just keep that in mind, people.
Oh yeah.
Our next episode is going to be a how do I put this? It is going to be an S show. I'm not sure if it's going to be. I'm not sure if it's going to be explicit tagged or not. Keep that in mind. I might sneak out something quick about some models. That's all I can say.
Okay.
But anyways, next time we're going to hopefully we're going to have a bunch of different people on. Hopefully even the groom himself. We'll see. But until then,
play the game the way you want to.
We'd love it if you could give us a positive rating and review on iTunes.
If you'd like to keep in contact with us, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter by searching for Masters of the Forge.
And you can follow our hobby progress on Instagram with the hashtag Masters of the Forge.
If you'd like to engage with us directly, you can always join our Discord server.
To do so, or if you have any questions, topic suggestions, or if you'd like to advertise your creative hobby endeavor,
contact us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com.
Please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/mastersoftheforge. Thanks.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com.
It's such a good feeling to play games your way. It's such a happy feeling 40K'ing away. And when you throw dice with story in mind, it's such a wonderful way to unwind. It's a good feeling, a very good feeling. The feeling you know that we'll be back when the fortnight's new, and we'll have new ideas for you, and you'll have things you'll want to talk about. We will too.